My name is Maz Ganim. Been doing this since September 2014. And my role in this office is business development and marketing. So I get out in the community and try to start business, make the phones ring, and the emails come in. Well, I was a FedEx employee for 25 years. My brother, and during that time, the last 10 years, was looking to do something else. And my brother's an insurance agent as well. Sort of nudged me into it. So I was a driver at FedEx for the most of the 25 years. It's like people, right? And just interacting with people. And it's kind of neat to be on one route for a lot of years and see the same people over and over and watch the kids grow up, that kind of thing. So I think just being able to be around people and helping people, yeah. What motivates me is building a team, right? So the culture that we have in the office I think that's important, right? Culture is important, but I guess the motivation is just doing good for people because most likely it's the most expensive thing they're going to buy, and then to be able to help them, insure it properly. So it's rewarding, but that motivates me. And when we're successful, then we give back to the community. Different charities. So just, I guess doing good and helping people. Well, first of all, we're going to pick up the phone, which I think is a lost art, right? We're not an 800 number. We're local in the community. So I think that's important. And listen, I'm big on service around here because I know our customers can get insurance anywhere, right? I get that. So what's big for us as an office is we do the little things that matter. And I just think it's a lost art in any industry. I mean, you call an 800 number and you got to go different prompts, and you don't know who you're talking to or where they are. So we're big on service. And so if you call the office, we're going to pick up. And if you send us an email, we're going to respond probably within 30 minutes and for sure same day. So we're just big on the little things. So I think the beauty is when somebody calls us, we know them. We understand the market that we live in because we all live here. We're local. So I think that's important that, because when you call an 800 number, they're maybe in Ohio. They don't understand how the North Carolina market works per se. So just knowing the market and how it is and how much square footage we think should be covered on a home, the dwelling coverage is important. So I think that the value that we provide. Okay, so just recently, somebody called in panicking about their auto insurance was being canceled. I can't remember the specifics, right? But Mason, who's our admin person, was not only able to get it reinstated, but the customer left us a review because of the service that we provided. So I thought that was kind of cool that we turned it into a positive, and they noticed it. So. Yeah, we love stuff like that, man. It's helping people, right? So they called in and we picked up the phone and we took care of it. So it's kind of neat. As a business owner, it's kind of cool that your team sort of thinks like you do. So that was pretty cool. Yeah. So when initially we put them with a carrier, let's say Progressive, for instance, and next year if Progressive raises their rate, so they're notified of their renewal 30 to 45 days in advance. And if they're not happy with their renewal at all, they can just reach out to us, and we already have all their information, ask a couple of questions, and then we're on our way. We do the shopping for them. Then we just call them back and let them know what we find. So it's a pretty simple process. Well, it's simple. Captive agent has one product, right? So I'll use State Farm as an example. All they have is State Farm. So because we're independent, we're a broker, we have options for people, right? And we have carriers like Travelers and Nationwide and Allstate and Utica and Kemper. We have all the big names. If somebody wants the name, I can give them the name if they're, into that. or there's some carriers out there that they may never heard of. So the beauty is that I can give them what they want versus them being pigeonholed by one company. There's always instances where somebody comes to us where they filed a claim and they're getting dropped by their insurance company. Because we're independent insurance agents, we have options. So we have 30 to 35 different options for people. And I think that's the beauty of what we do. So it's awesome, when somebody calls you and says, I'm being dropped by my insurance company because of a claim I filed, and then to be able to put them into a good policy. So just recently, State Farm customer called and said they had a water claim. They'd been with State Farm for 25 years. Now, I'm not picking on State Farm, but this was a true story, right? So they had a water claim, upstairs toilet leaked, $140,000 worth of damage. As I mentioned, she'd been with them like 25 years. And at the renewal, they were dropped. So I put their policy, even though she had the claim, I was able to put her in a standard market. I found a good policy for her. So that one really comes to the top of mind. They're not pigeonholed into one, and, next year if their rate goes up, and we're happy to reshop it. Well, I think it's always a good idea to, every few years, just have your agent review it so you can talk about changes that happen in your family. Have you done anything to the house? Have you updated the roof? I mean, did you add more square footage? Just things like that you should keep up with, and discuss with your agent. Do we have enough dwelling coverage? Because it costs more now to rebuild a home than it did, say, 2 years ago. So it's important that you have enough dwelling coverage on your home. And the agent obviously is going to want to know, or we're going to want to know, has any changes happened to the house? Have you changed the roof? Have you added more square footage, et cetera? So have you added another driver? Your kid's getting ready to drive, stuff like that. So it's always a good idea every couple of years, 2 or 3 years, to have that review. Unfortunately, the bottom line and how much they're paying is the most important thing nowadays, instead of the value that's being provided by the agent, right? So I think it's important. So for me personally, right, if I'm going to a restaurant and I'm picking between good service at one, but it's more expensive, I'm going to that one because I think service is important. So I think people are too focused on the cost of insurance. Now, I'm not saying it's not important, but what's the point if you're not insured properly, right? So I think, and just having an agent or an office that you can call and talk to and have the conversation with. Okay, so we're originally from the Middle East. I was born in Jerusalem. We're Palestinian. So I came to this country, Greensboro, specifically when I was 1. So I spent most of my life in Greensboro and been in Raleigh since 2005. So, we came here with nothing, right? So I think my mom and dad sort of taught us, they were always kind to our friends. And, my mom we'd have our friends over and she'd cook. And so I think they taught me just how to be kind to people. And, I guess I got my dad's personality, thankfully, because he's very social, talks to anybody, talk to a wall. So, yeah, and then just, of course, being a FedEx employee and seeing people every day. And I don't know, it's just sort of, you're taught so many lessons in life, as you're growing up. But yeah, so I think taking those lessons that I've learned from mom and dad and like building culture in this office, and we're very open in this office, right? We listen to our employees. We have Tuesday meetings and we all talk about what we can do to make everybody's experience better, and so, yeah, culture is important. Golf. Love to play golf. I do a lot of yard work. I'm not sure if it's a pastime or not. So yeah, I'd say golf right now is my favorite thing to do. My brother Charlie. was a mentor. Now he's just a big brother, right? When we started this business, I didn't know anything. I mean, I knew I could run a business, but there's still a lot to learn, and so it just his guidance was important. I think my dad for sure, right? Without even him even knowing that he was, I just the work ethic. He taught me so much and never said anything. He'd just get up and go to work every day, and that's what he did. So, well, I mean, I think like I've got relatives that have always been entrepreneurs. Just growing up, my dad was too. My brother Charlie, went out on his own. He went to college, got a job with a big, company, and then he decided that he wanted to work for himself. So, I saw that. So it's sort of always been in our blood to work for ourselves. So I used to have this dream about owning a small bar in a neighborhood or a pub. That was always my dream, like a Cheers, everybody knows your name kind of thing. So that was always my dream. So you never know. I think Middle Eastern food because my mom was an excellent cook. I don't know if I can pick one. I think like falafel. I mean, I love falafel, because she made the best, and she used to bake her own bread. So yeah, that love it. Oh, rock and roll. Tom Petty, Beatles, for sure. Tom Petty. Used to be the Beatles were my number one band, but I think Petty now is number one. So I am in charge of marketing and business development. So my goal is to get in front of mortgage lenders and realtors and, get out in the community, meet people, kiss babies and shake hands, right? So that's my job. Oh boy. If I had a superpower, I think I'd like to fly. I think that would be so cool. Can you imagine just soaring over and yeah. Reading people's minds would be pretty cool too. Yeah. But I think flying. I don't want to dig too deep in people's minds. You never know what you're going to find. Yeah.